everyone, and welcome to Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails, the weekly podcast that helps you grow your business, improve your life, and enjoy yourself along the way. I'm your host, Alan Langer, and every week we try to bring you the best thought leaders, the best business leaders, and the best minds out there to help you succeed in business and in life. So sit back, relax, grab your pad, your pen, and your favorite beverage, and enjoy the next episode of Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails. This is episode 56 tonight. Episode 56 coming your way. And for all the unhealthy salespeople out there, we've got an episode for you. And I know you're out there. There's a lot of salespeople that don't take care of themselves. And I was saying this to my guest. My guest tonight is going to be Jinling Yang. And Jinglin, I always get the G's mixed up. Is a fitness habit coach, but I have her on because we were talking that you don't have anything if you don't have your health. You could be the best salesperson in the world, the best marketer in the world. If you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. So that's why Jinglin is joining us tonight. But before we get to her, always remember that the website is marketingandsalespodcast.com. Go to the website. We've got an actual pretty good question coming up tonight that has to do with sales and health and all that stuff. And if you send me a question, just like Billy did from Boston, Billy's getting a free copy of my book. If you send a question that we read on the air, you will get a signed autographed copy of my book as well. So episode 56 is kicking off with Jinglin Yang. She is from my hometown of East Greenwich, Rhode Island. Jinglin, how are you tonight? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, Alan. How are you?
I am great. I apologize for butchering your name. I just can't get the G in the right place. But
No, that's okay. I think you did a wonderful job. You're really
all right. Thank you. So Jinglin is a fitness habit coach. So she is drinking water tonight. Since this podcast is early, I only have iced coffee, but we still have to do a virtual toast. So get your water. I'll get my coffee, and we'll do a little virtual toast into the camera.
Yes.
Jinglin, thank you for joining me tonight, and it's a pleasure to have you, and I want to hear all about how we're all going to stay healthy coming up.
Thank you for having me, Alan.
You're welcome. All right, so let's get into this. Let's talk about, now I was in in-home sales, and there's a lot of people out there who, especially prior to COVID, they were appointment after appointment driving around, the pharma reps and all these guys that are just driving around really are not very healthy because their lifestyle does not lend itself to eating well and exercising and things like that. And we're going to get into that with the question, but tell us how you got into what you're doing here and what does it mean to be a fitness habit coach?
I got into the field because of a great question I asked myself at the beginning of the quarantine. It's actually quite incidental, I would say. So one day it was so quiet. I was at home asking myself, hey, how did I even become a CPA? Because before I was a fitness habit coach, I was CPA. So I was thinking to myself about that question. And then all of a sudden, my memory traveled all the way back to the first day of my college. And I remember someone just approached me and asked me, hey, what do you want to be after your graduation? And I said to her, I want to be a business owner. Upon my answer, she told me one thing which shook me to my core. She told me, if your accountant and your manager collude together, they can steal your business. Do you know that? And now I was like, oh. So I immediately,
Really?
Yes, exactly. I was like, oh my goodness, I need to study accounting. That's why the second day after our conversation, I signed up accounting for my major, like literally. And then it's just, spending 4 years in accounting and then taking CPA exam, become accountant, and then doing practice or doing anything related to accounting for however years until COVID hits. And I have some peaceful time to myself and asking myself, wait a second, did I become accountant to protect my business? But I don't even have a business. Like how ironic that is. So it was time for me to think about, maybe it's time to pivot, because I've always wanted to have my own business. And then at that moment, I just declared a victory against my 4-year battle of my shopping addiction. And that was the darkest time of my entire life, because at one point I was thinking to myself, my life would just go down to the toilet and I wouldn't be able to see the light at all.
Wow.
Because literally at one point, I was telling myself, okay, that's it. You cannot shop for another minute anymore. And then right after I tell myself that, I would open the new window, hop onto another side, and just check out all the new in items for another 2 hours.
Wow.
It was unbelievably happy, but also afterwards is a lot of guilt and pain that comes after that.
Sure.
So, right? So I thought to myself, okay, if telling myself, hinting to myself, or visualization is not going to work for changing this bad habit, what I would like to do is to gain as many good habits as possible so that I have a tool to counteract what's happening on the bad side. So eventually I started to reading like crazy. I was journaling every day, and I started to learn new languages. So as I spend more and more time building good habits, my bad habits start to wane. And eventually, 2.5 years later, which is at the beginning of 2020, my good habits start to take hold and my bad habits just completely vanish. And I haven't shopped for 14 months, which is a great thing for me, because it was an unbelievable journey for me just to imagine there was one day I wouldn't be able to, I just won't think about shopping at all during my entire day.
So, first of all, that's a remarkable story. Second, congratulations for overcoming the addiction, because I used to be married to a psychotherapist, so I know a lot about addictions more than the average person. Did you do it by yourself, or did you actually have help? Did you have a therapist to help you with this, or did you?
No, I did it all by myself because I was too ashamed to tell anybody. As a matter of fact, after 2 months me quitting my addiction, I told my husband I had addiction.
He didn't even know?
He joked about.
Oh, okay.
So he joked about it twice in the entire 4 years. That's it. Wow. Because we had separate finance, so we never talked about this stuff. So I hid it really well, and I hid all of my prized possessions, so nobody knew where they are.
Telling Amazon, drop it by the back door.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. So,
were you still a CPA when you were going through this?
Yes, I was.
You are, okay.
Yeah, but thank God I had my CPA before this. Otherwise, I just don't think I can get my CPA, to be honest.
Okay. So you went through, so you're a CPA, you're going through now, you're fighting the addiction. It's taking you over 2 years to do that. When 2020 starts and then the pandemic, are you still a CPA, or this is when you started to get into the fitness stuff?
I was still a CPA at the beginning of 2020. So I started my business in August 2020.
Okay. And how did you go from CPA to fitness habit coach?
Exactly.
Like, what was that journey?
That's a great question. So actually, after I quit my addiction, I learned 2 incredible lessons, which I would like to share to the audience about, right?
Of course. Yep.
So the first one is building a good habit is tremendously fun. It's not as tedious, as boring as how it sounds. And I would highly encourage everybody just try something different and test it for yourself. And the second lesson I learned is building a new habit is the most fundamental way to change your identity. So if you would like to become more confident, bolder, and be more courageous, I would say start a new habit. That's the most fundamental way, the surest ways to change your identity. So those are the two lessons I learned from this journey. That's why I want to start as a habit coach, because I realized there is a tremendous lesson behind the entire journey. And I was so glad at that point that I fought it off by myself. I mean, if I were asking for help, I probably got it off a lot sooner, but I probably wouldn't be able to realize many things that I gained during the journey either. So there's certain pluses and minuses there. How I figured out I want to do something related to fitness is that I have been living an active style since I was 7 years old. I played different sports. I worked out for different reasons, and I had different workout consistency throughout my life. And one thing I realized is whenever I play sports, my consistency was great, top notch. However, when it comes to working out at a gym, my consistency is sometimes great, sometimes not so great. So
you and the rest of the world.
yeah, true, right?
Yeah.
So at the beginning of 2020, after building a few really good habits, I said to myself, why don't I just apply what I've learned in building good habits to workout? Wouldn't it become a lot more fun and a lot more automatic to me once I do it? So that's what I did. And you know what? It worked. It worked. I'm so glad I tested it out and everything worked. Everything just worked. And that's why I'm right here and sharing my story, because I do believe there is a value to this lesson that I learned along the way.
Absolutely. So who are your clients? Do you deal with mostly individual, business owners, or, people who are working from home? What's your typical client right now? Or it could be anybody?
Actually, my clients, business owners, are the best for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
And the reason is because, tell us why they are your best clients.
They're the best clients because they do have control over their time.
Oh, I see. Okay. So like solopreneurs or people that have their own business.
Right.
Have you coached them? Awesome.
Yes.
All right. So we hear a lot of stuff about habits. It's kind of a buzzword. You hear the old, what's the phrase? You need 30 days of doing something to start a habit. But then I've heard conflicting advice on that. So how do you actually start a habit that you are saying is going to be fun? What would be the first starting point?
First starting point. That's the point I would give the same advice to a lot of people. It's going to be fun because it's going to sound ridiculous. Start with 2 minutes. It doesn't matter what you do. Just don't even think. Jump into it for 2 minutes before you think.
Okay. We're talking about an exercise, specific exercise, or anything?
No, you can do anything. You can literally jumping up and down on the same spot for 2 minutes. That counts as exercise, by the way. That counts. Right. Or you can just, get down to the floor, do push-up for 2 minutes. That counts as well. 2 minutes.
Sure.
All it takes is 2 minutes. Yes. I think there is a psychological signal behind it. It's because when you do 2 minutes to start, it's so easy to trend up down the road, especially for the next 1 month or two. But if you start your first exercise with full load of motivation and work out for 45 minutes or an hour, guess where you can go?
Down.
Exactly. Especially giving you haven't worked out for a few months, right? So this is your first session that your body needs time to get used to. And then your recovery time is going to be the longest.
Right.
The second day you want to do the same exercise again, you're going to probably be able to do a third of what you were able to do this first day.
Right. Because you're so sore.
So too sore to do anything.
Too sore. Like, this is to hell with this.
Yes.
So start small and build up from there.
Yes, absolutely.
So what are your best tips then in sticking to the workout habits that you start putting together? Because I think that's the hardest thing for people to do is to in anything that they're trying to build a habit or try to do consistently is sticking to it. Do you have tips on how to stick to your habits?
Yes, absolutely. How about this? This one is actually, I don't find this one be talked about enough in any media form. And my suggestion would be to start a 10-year vision just for your life in general. I'm not talking about a fitness plan. I'm not talking about a specific health practice, just to envision yourself where you would be in 10 years. And here's the reason. When you are coming up with a 3-month health goal, you can easily just reject that goal because, right, one day you look into the mirror and you tell yourself that you need to lose 10 pounds. Mm-hmm. 5 pounds down the road. Okay, great, right? You're halfway there. And you look into the mirror again and you say, you know what? I think losing 5 pounds is good enough. I look great now. I don't need to continue with the other 5 pounds. Mm-hmm. My goal is done. I'm good enough. That's it. I'm going to go back to eating whatever I want to because my goal is done, right? So when you're setting a short-term goal, it's so easy to get yourself out of it.
Okay.
Right? However, when you have a 10-year vision, first of all, it might take you 1 month or two to come up with that vision, to be honest. A lot of people have a lot of trouble coming up with a 10-year vision. Mm-hmm. So after thinking about one certain thing for a month or two, you are going to have a much stronger buy-in because you invested beforehand of so much time and energy. So when you have that goal, and especially when that goal is somewhat related to energy and health in general, you're not going to talk yourself out of it that easy. Right? So.
And it sounds like that can be in anything you do, any habit, whether it's fitness or business or whatever.
Yes.
That you can apply that.
Yes. Absolutely. I would just say strong.
Come up with a 10-year vision. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
Thank you.
Is part of your coaching, do you get into the nutrition end of it, or do you do the whole thing? Or is it really just fitness for you as far as the human body exercising?
Right now, I primarily focus on consistency in workout.
Consistency in workout. Okay.
In workout. But when it comes to nutrition, here is how I work with my client is, for example, you determine eating the right amount of chocolate is good for you, but no more than, let's say, two pieces per night, right? Mm-hmm. And so far, you've been eating 5 pieces per night. Right? You want to cut down from 5 pieces to 2 pieces.
You have a camera in my house.
No, I'm just
kidding.
Okay. So if you determine, okay, you want to cut down from 5 piece to 2 piece to make this switch, then this is something I can help because this is related to a habit. But I don't tell you what to eat and what not to.
So it's really, you're working on the habit of eating because eating can be one of the biggest and baddest habits you can have is poor eating.
Yes, exactly. I'm totally aware of that. That's why if someone says, okay, I'm not drinking enough water, I'm eating too much carbs that I want to cut down, and I'm eating just too much sugar, right? Those are the 3 common things that a lot of people are talking about, then I can tell them, hey, just let me know what's the ideal amount that you think you should be eating, and I can help you to make it stick.
Awesome. See, that's a different way of looking at it, because you're coming at it from the consistency and the habit form of it, rather than just saying, do it and figure out how to do it on your own. Because you can see all these different exercise programs, but they don't really teach you the consistency of it. That's really cool. I like the whole concept. And what you're talking about, we're going to get to the question in a few minutes about eating, because I think it's the consistency of exercise has to be in line with the consistency of eating, the habit of eating well.
So true.
I would think, because it doesn't, you can eat well and not exercise, or exercise and not eat well, and you're going to wind up in the same place. So
true.
All right, here's a question. What are the biggest mistakes that you see people make in their fitness journey? Like people, whether they're starting or whether they're doing it, what mistakes are you seeing people making when they're trying to come up with their fitness routine?
Sorry.
That's okay.
The biggest mistakes I see people making, I kind of briefly touch upon this already, is that people work out for the wrong reason. That's
okay.
The first one. For example, I hear a lot of people talking about, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to be able to fit into my jeans, my favorite pants, or whatever you name it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a tiny issue, actually a big issue that comes with it. It's like, as soon as you set your goal like this, and when you hop onto the machine and start working out, there will be a teeny tiny voice creeps into your mind and tells you, hey, you know what? The only reason you're here today working out is because you have made some bad choices in the past. And then the second you start to work out, exercise feels like a punishment. And it's not going to be fun.
That's a great point. It's almost like you're punishing yourself for your bad choices. I have to do this now to take care of those bad choices, right?
Right, again and again and again. You hope it will stick, right? But just imagine, like, imagine there is a criminal who's sent to the prison, like, who would want to be punished again and again and again?
Yeah.
Like, nobody would want that.
So you're saying that people start in the wrong mental state.
Exactly.
With their fitness routine.
Yes, absolutely.
So how should they start then?
Imagine you're living in the most beautiful place in your life you can ever imagine already, right? Imagine you have achieved all the bucket list items in your entire life. All 50, 100 bucket list items all checked off, and you are living in that wonderful, wonderful place with perfect bank account balance, with the most amazing romantic partner, with the most harmonious family dynamic. When you are in that kind of place, whatever reason you tell yourself why you want to work out, that's a real reason you want to work out now.
To get to that perfect place.
Right.
So you want to...
Or actually, you are not even... sorry.
Go ahead.
Or you're actually not even thinking about you have another beautiful place to go. You just think you are content.
Oh, you're saying you're already there. That's
your
there. Mindset. Oh,
yes,
wow.
You are there different. Already, right? Just imagine you have the most you're living in your perfect life already. Whatever you tell yourself why you want to work out, when you are living in the perfect life already, is the real reason why you want to work out.
Wow, that's fascinating. I love that. Really good stuff. Wow. All right. Before we get to the question, now this is a sales and marketing podcast, and you did start your own company. So I'm going to ask you,
yes,
and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing what you went through to get over your shopping addiction, and then you decided to start your company. How did you do it? Like, did you just say, were you scared? Was it like, oh my God, I'm going to do this? Like, tell us about that little journey where you went from CPA to now a fitness habit coach. Like, how did you get there mentally? And then what steps did you take that may be able to help some of the solopreneurs in the audience who are maybe thinking of starting their own business?
Alan, thank you for this great question. Because to be honest, I haven't really thought about this question in the past 7 months. My answer would be, here's the thing. I don't think there will be a perfect time to start, but there is always something that you can do today. I believe if you just do 5 to 10 minutes of work today and not even worry about what it's going to be tomorrow, do that 5 to 10 minutes because it's so small. You can totally just treat it as, you know what, you played a game with yourself for 10 minutes and it's done. And you don't even think about it as business, because thinking about it as a business might be intimidating at the start. But when you're thinking to yourself that you're just going to do a little test with yourself just to see how it's going to pan out a few months down the road, you're just going to chip it away one teeny bit at a time.
I think that's brilliant advice. It's something I talk about where like you can very easily, especially as an entrepreneur, get overwhelmed with everything that you have to do.
Yes.
And you have your to-do lists and you're looking at 30 things a day, and you just, sometimes you just freeze from paralysis of analysis. And I gave this piece of advice once on LinkedIn, and it actually got a lot of comments where I said, just take one thing a day that's going to help you advance your business. If it takes you 5 minutes or 2 hours, if you just do one thing, just know that you did one thing that day that advanced your business. That's 5 things a week. That's 20 things a month. That's 240 things a year. And at the end of the year, you're going to have a business. So that's the great point you're making, is start small. And as long as it's going toward your goal, little by little, chip by chip, you'll get there. So I think that's
true.
Brilliant point you just made.
Thank you, Alan. I think I love your point too.
Yeah, because if you can get, like, a lot of people spend so much time on stuff that doesn't advance their business. They could do 10 things and nothing helped their business move forward, even if it was a half an inch, because they did all this minutia. Where if I just did that one, if I sent out that one proposal today and did nothing else, that's a good day because I sent out a proposal. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. That's the most important thing.
So, all right, you ready for our awesome question of the week?
Yes, absolutely.
The Ask Alan section comes from, and again, go to the website, marketingandsalespodcast.com. The Ask Alan button is at the top. Send me a question, and if we read your question on the air, you're going to get a free signed copy of my book. And Billy from Boston, right around the corner from us, Jinglin, is asking us. Now, there's some people in the audience that are going to relate to this. So he says, I am in in-home sales and my diet is terrible. And I've been in in-home sales and I can completely relate. My diet was terrible too. What would you suggest to do to help me with all of these bad habits? Eating late, fast food, not exercising. I don't know what to do because I'm so busy, but I'm also unhealthy. That's what Billy from Boston is asking Jinlin today on the podcast. How would you respond to Billy?
I find it's true that our eating habits is closely related to our sleep habits.
Okay.
I would suggest pay attention to the sleeping pattern, because a lot of times what I see from my clients is that they will go to sleep really late. They will get up later than what they want to, and then they start to binge eat. I would start as going to sleep early, such as 10:30, 11 p.m. with everything cleared out off your mind, just not thinking about anything when you're actually going to sleep. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to fall asleep, and then you will end up sleeping late again. I would say a great starting point is to actually go to sleep early so that you won't have the craving the second day. And craving is actually something that triggers your bad eating habits. Because when you are feeling healthy, your body actually won't crave the crazy food that you actually desire when you're not healthy.
That's so true.
That's the first thing you do. And the second thing you do actually is to try to pick up some small exercise you can do here and there for 2 minutes per session.
Okay.
For example, in the morning, 2 minutes push up, right? You do 10 to 20 of them, and then stop. Make yourself stop. And then let's say a few hours passed, you do sit up for another 2 minutes, and then stop. Make it a hard stop, just 2 minutes. And then before going to bed, stretch for 2 minutes. So everything combined, it's 6 minutes. And it seems like it's not even time because you can barely tell the difference between spending 2 minutes and not spending 2 minutes. But you just start 3 sessions of workout on your first day. And
6 more minutes than you had the day before.
Exactly. And the good thing about working out so in tiny, small increment is that very soon you will realize if you keep eating bad food, you are not going to be able to recover. So once you start your fitness side, your workout side, your brain will tell your body, hey, watch what you eat because you want to progress in your push-up, in your sit-up, and in your stretch.
Do you recommend, there's so much technology at our fingertips now, like setting timers to say, okay, I should exercise now. It pops up on my phone, like, oh, I got to do my sit-ups now. Anything that would help with that? Would that be a recommendation that you would make?
I think that's a great idea. As a matter of fact, I set my 5 water break reminders on my phone. So at the same time, every single day, I was like, okay, time to drink a 350 milliliter of water right now. Like seriously, stop everything I'm doing. Just go get up and drink that big cup of water and then continue. It's mandatory. It's not even negotiable.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, I mean, for Billy, again, since I was in his shoes, it comes down to how bad you want it. It sounds like you're at the point where you want to make yourself healthy. You want to get healthy, and you have to make the commitment to do that. It's just not going to happen by itself. And like Jinglin said, do that 2 minutes in the morning. Do it in between appointments in the afternoon before you go to bed. Before you know it, it's 3 minutes and 4 minutes, and now you're in the gym. You know, you're getting up early and going to the gym before your appointments. You'll be surprised on how much your point of actually you'll eat better when you work out is so true. Like when you start working out, you automatically eat better. It's not, you don't keep eating crappy because you feel crappy if you start eating lousy when you're working out. So all of it will start to fall into place. So you got to want to do it, Billy. And now that you're asking that question, I know you're going to do it. So good luck to you. And thank you for writing in. That was a great question. I think it helped a lot of people that you asked that, because I know sales can be a pretty unhealthy profession because everybody's running like crazy. So, well, we are pretty much over 35 minutes already, Jinling. So
Ooh.
We went very fast. So how can people, if they want to contact you to get some help or find where they can chat with you, where do they go?
They can go find me on Instagram. So
Okay.
that would be at jinlingyang.consistency.
And so it's JINGLIN.
Yes. YANG.
Okay, so JINGLINYANG.consistency.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So that is her on Instagram. She's also on LinkedIn. That's where Well, I found, how did we meet actually? I'm trying to remember. Was that through
Daniel
Dave or-
Indish.
Oh, Daniel, that's right.
Indish.
Daniel, that's right. Okay. So yeah, so we met through my group on Friday, and she's been part of that ever since. So, but yeah, she's on LinkedIn, she's on Instagram. I'm telling you folks, she's helped a few people in my networking group. They rave about her. So if you need any help, contact her, and I'm sure she will turn your life around with her energy and her wisdom. So, any last words you want to say to the group before we go?
Guys, start today. That's my only message. Start
today. And there you hear it. I love it. That's the simplest, the best advice I've heard in a couple of months. Well, Jinglin, God, thank you very much for joining me on Marketing and Sales over iced coffee and water today.
Water. Thank you,
I want
Alan.
to thank everyone out there for joining us in episode 56, Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails. Remember, send me a question and you'll get a free copy of my book signed by me if we read your question on the air. Also, head over to Apple Podcasts and please leave a review if you like what you're listening to. Leave the 5 stars and whatever you want to write. Love to hear from you. The more reviews you get, the more reviews I get and we get, the more people get a chance to hear about the podcast and the more people we can help. All right, everyone. So we will see everyone next time on Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails. Take care.